Hey guys, it's Jasma, and today in celebration of reaching 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to be making some celebration cupcakes. I want to thank everybody who has been watching my videos and supporting me along the way. It has been really fun making these and sharing my recipes online. So today I'm going to be making some really simple vanilla cupcakes that you could decorate for really any occasion of celebration. So let's get started. First off, preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and in a large bowl I have a sieve, and I'm just going to sift together my dry ingredients. I have all-purpose flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. And I'm just going to sift it all together. Make sure you sift your flour because this gets rid of any lumps inside of the flour that you don't want in your cupcakes, and it also introduces air, which makes these cupcakes even lighter and fluffier. These cupcakes are really moist and light and fluffy, and they're super easy to make as well. Alright, my flour has been sifted, so now I'm just going to set it aside and move on to my wet mix. So once again, I'm using my stand mixer as always. It just makes everything so much easier. I have my powder attachment here, and I'm going to add in my softened unsalted butter. Make sure that all of your ingredients are at room temperature. This helps make the batter a lot smoother and prevent it from separating from the eggs. I'm using unsalted butter here today because you always want to be able to control how much salt you add to your baking. And I'm just going to beat this until it becomes pale and fluffy. Alright, the butter has been loosened up, so I'm going to give the sides of the bowl a scrape just to make sure everything gets combined. You always want to make sure that you scrape your bowl very often. And I'm just going to add in my sugar. Beating the butter introduces air into this mixture, and the sugar holds that structure. So beating the butter and the sugar is actually a very important step if you want your cake to be really nice and fluffy. So I'm going to let this continue mixing for around 2 minutes until it is really nice and pale and it has grown in volume. You see the butter is now nice and fluffy, and it has almost paled in color. So now I'm going to start adding in my eggs. Now it is once again very important that all of your ingredients are at the same temperature so that it doesn't separate the butter. There is a lot of eggs adding in, and the butter can only take so much liquid at once, so you want to make sure you crack in one egg at a time and mix it completely before you add in the next one. Beat until the egg is completely incorporated. Now crack in the next egg. In the last egg, and beat until combined. I've incorporated all 3 eggs, so now I'm going to add in the rest of the ingredients. Here I have some pure vanilla extract. Make sure you're using good quality vanilla extract. And then I'm going to add in the half of my dry ingredients. So just let that mix until incorporated. Make sure you do not overmix. I scraped down the bowl, and I'm just going to add in the last bit of dry ingredients. And again, let that mix until just combined. If you overmix this batter, then the cupcakes won't turn out as fluffy and light. It would be a little bit tougher. Alrighty, there are no more dry clumps of flour. Make sure you get all of the dry bits of flour that was not mixed in on the sides of the bowl. And I'm using my spatula to fold this to make sure that I don't overmix this batter. Alright, now we can scoop this into the cupcake liners. Here I have a cupcake pan lined with cupcake liners, and I also have an ice cream scoop to help me distribute the batter nice and evenly. If you don't have an ice cream scoop, you can just do 2 spoons and you could scrape it off like that. I just find this a lot easier. So I'm going to distribute this batter evenly throughout my cupcake liners, filling them 3/4 to the way to the top. Alright, so now I'm going to place these into the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for around 20 minutes. It might vary for you because every single oven is different. Just bake until the top is nice and golden brown, and when you insert a toothpick into the center, it comes out clean. So now I'm going to write out my letters using some candy melts. Since we're celebrating 5,000 subscribers, I'm just going to write 5,000s using my candy melts. I'm using pink today. You can use whatever color you like. And this is also perfect if you were to decorate these cupcakes for somebody's birthday, because you could write their names or you could write their age on top of the cupcakes as well. It's a really easy way to decorate and also make it really pretty. So I'm just going to melt these down in the microwave at 30-second intervals until it is completely smooth. Make sure you stir it every time you microwave it to make sure you don't burn the candy melts. I ended up microwaving my chocolate for 1 minute and 30 seconds in 3 separate times. You can see the chocolate is a little bit thicker, so if you want to thin it out and make it easier to pipe, you can add a little bit of coconut oil to melt it down a little bit. You do not need a lot of coconut oil at all. A little goes a very long way. Plus, you don't want it to be so thin that it doesn't stay after you pipe it. And I like to use coconut oil because it still solidifies, so it won't affect how your candy melts set up. The candy melts has melted, it's now nice and smooth, so I'm going to pipe it out onto a silicone mat. I like to use silicone mats because it's nice and smooth and it stays that way. Parchment paper can wrinkle a little bit sometimes. Of course, you can use parchment paper if you like. So I'm going to load this into a Ziploc bag because there isn't a lot of chocolate that I need to pipe out, but of course you can use a regular piping bag as well. So I'm going to stand this up in a cup. You always want to stand up your bags to make it easier to fill. And then I'm just going to pour in the chocolate. Don't load too much chocolate into the bag at once because it gets solidified and you'll have to remelt it and it's just a lot of work. So do a little bit at a time, and I'm just going to snip off the tip. Now I'm going to pipe it. Once you finish piping, just let your chocolate sit somewhere cold, or you can even put it into the fridge to speed up the process. And meanwhile, we're going to work on the frosting. So for the frosting, I'm just going to make a really simple whipped cream. I'm using my stand mixer. Feel free to use a hand mixer. And I just have a whisk attachment, and I'm going to pour in my cold cream. Start whipping this on medium-low until it becomes slightly thicker. You can see the cream has thickened up. There are no more huge bubbles. So I'm going to add in my icing sugar and continue whipping until stiff peaks form. Halfway through, you want to scrape down the sugar that has been splattered on the sides of the bowl to make sure that everything gets mixed in. My frosting is now ready, so I'm going to load it into a piping bag that I fitted with a 1M Wilton Star tip. This comes out with a really nice swirl after you pipe it. And if you don't have a piping bag, you can just load it into a large Ziploc bag and snip off the tip. It works just fine. So as always, when you're filling the bag, twist the tip so no frosting comes out this end, flip it upwards, and then put it in a cup. Alright, now I'm just going to go grab my cooled cupcakes and we can start to decorate. My cupcakes has baked, it's nice and golden brown on top, and I have let it cool down completely. Make sure that you do not pipe frosting onto a warm cupcake because it will cause the frosting to melt. So those are my vanilla cupcake. You can see that these are really pretty and easy to make, and they would be perfect for any occasion as they're really easily customizable. Once again, thank you guys for supporting my channel. I really hope you can try these out. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and share my videos with anybody who you think would enjoy these recipes. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye!